Something crazy is about to happen in World of Tanks. Something so crazy that I don't even think the craziest of predictions would have ever predicted this to be the case. Wargaming is giving away a free tank. And it's not a free little tier 4 Christmas tank. This is a tier 9 medium. Yes, you heard that right. Wargaming is giving away a free tier 9 medium. What do you need to do? Is it a rental period? Is it something like last year where you have to gamble on the tokens and hopefully get it with a 0.2% drop chance, or it's only going to be rentals? Nope. Literally, all you need to do to get your hands on the vehicle, log in from December 22nd to January 1st and make it yours. Yep. That's what at least we see here. To what I'm aware, it does not say anywhere in this news article that it is going to be a rental period tank, which means Wargaming is giving away a free tier 9 medium. This is kind of insane. In fact, it is absolutely insane that Wargaming is doing this. Now, I am going to warn you now, just because they're giving away a free tank does not mean that it's going to be good in every way. Because the matchmaker for, I guarantee, the next month is going to be filled with only Patton the tanks. Like, literally only this vehicle. Because everybody that hasn't played World of Tanks in probably years is going to download the game, even if they don't plan on playing, just so they can get this vehicle and play it for a few battles. Now, if, let's say, there is a million people that have, over the years, stopped playing World of Tanks, and they all come back at once to claim this vehicle, I'm quite confident that the matchmaker is going to be the most skewed and the worst we've ever seen it in years. Now, I'm not complaining, but it's just a warning beforehand. The storm is arriving, and be prepared for tier 9 and even probably the majority of your tier 10 battles to be filled with literally one single tank. With that aside, in today's video, we are going to be taking a look at Patton the tank, its statistics, armor profile, and I'll be rating whether I think this looks to be a good or mediocre tank. So let's make our way over to Tanks GG. And we are going to equip this tank with some pretty basic things like Brothers in Arms. We're going to be putting on situational awareness, smooth ride, recon, kind of the basic things, snapshot, nothing else. So we got all the basics there. We are going to be running a small food on the tank, and then we're just going to take a look at what its stats look like here, because this is kind of what it would look like with a fully trained crew and what most people would have as a loadout. So, base DPM, 2,285. That's actually pretty low in terms of damage per minute. If you look at something like a Leopard or, you know, the majority of higher DPM tier 9 mediums, they're going to be sitting upwards of 2,500 base to upwards 2,800. So yeah, really not that much damage per minute. Now, it's not the end of the world. The vehicle hits for 400 damage. It's got decent standard pen. Its premium pen is pretty dookie, though, at only 300 millimeters. Something like the T-54 sitting upwards of like 330. So yeah, pen-wise, not the best, and damage per minute-wise, not the best either. I should also mention dispersion is pretty dang awful at 0.38 base, and the vehicle's dispersion on move is also pretty dang awful at 0.22. Honestly, right now, the tank's not looking all that impressive. It reaches a top speed of 40, which isn't very fast, and it reverses at 17. You know, you'd think that this is a heavy tank after looking at the stats we've seen so far. It is classic, at least with its gun depression for the Americans, with 10 degrees, which will be pretty nice. Features a 1,700 health, which is actually pretty beefy. And that's really about it. It seems pretty mediocre, at least on paper. This isn't surprising. Again, it's a free tank, so it's actually not surprising at all that the vehicle seems very mediocre. Taking a look at the vehicle's armor profile might be the last saving grace. This is a T-54's AP ammo with 201 mils of pen, aiming at the vehicle on flat ground. And the turret actually seems pretty good. The problem is you got this huge hatch, and it's actually huge. Look at the size of that thing. Yeah, I mean, anybody that knows how to aim is going to hit that hatch. And it's not like it has some troll armor. It's literally 90 to 70 mils thick on every single spot. Even if you miss it a little, you still have a chance of penning because you'll hit this lower part here. So in terms of armor, the tank looks alright. I mean, the turret, pretty dang troll. Even loading heat, well, never mind. I was going to say it looks pretty troll, and then loading heat it might be troll as well. But no, that's really not that strong. It's 235 to about 180. So yeah, armor wise, the tank doesn't look very strong either. I hadn't looked at the stats of the vehicle before making this video, and I'm gonna be honest, the stats are a lot worse than I thought it would be. The vehicle doesn't really seem to have much of anything going for it. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. To get a good idea of how Patton the Tank compares to any tech tree medium, I've decided to keep it American and throw the M46 Patton, a vehicle that is somewhat similar in its armor and overall capabilities, so we can get an idea of how it compares. So let's get straight into it. DPM-wise, Patton Tank has 2,300, and wow, yeah, the M46 Patton is 2,900. That is a 600 damage per minute difference, which is actually kind of insane. Now, to be fair, the M46 Patton does have a pretty big downside, and that is the penetration. It's only 218 on the Patton, and its premium's only about 265 with APCR. To be fair, it does have shell normalization, so it's more like 280-ish, 290 effective, but still, it's pretty bad pen for a tier 9, and that's really the major downside the M46 Patton has over something like Patton Tank. But still, 300 mils of heat is really not that good, and 242 is pretty stock standard nowadays. It's just that the Patton is such an old vehicle, the pen is pretty outdated. But take a look at that reload. Look at how much faster it is for basically the same alpha damage. It's almost 3 seconds faster. Scrolling our way down, we can also take a look, and ammo capacity, way better for the M46 Patton. That means if you're missing shells with Patton Tank or you load too much of certain ammo, it can definitely affect your performance. The M46 Patton has much better aiming time, 1.8 seconds compared to 2.24. The dispersion is a little bit better, not a lot better, but it's still better. And look at the on-movement dispersion. It's 0.1, 0.11, and 0.07 compared to 0.21. Wow, 0.22. That is literally double, a 100% increase of on-movement dispersion from the M46 Patton to the Patton Tank. If you are not running V-stabs on this vehicle, you're running it wrong. I might even be running V-stabs and improved rotation mechanism, because this is literally the worst I've ever seen when it comes to on-movement dispersion for a medium, and it doesn't even really feature that much alpha difference. The forward speed, the Patton Tank is quite slow, only goes 40, while the M46 Patton can go 48 on both terrains. And power to weight wise, it seems like the M46 Patton is also quite a bit better at 20 compared to 15. Now, to be fair, the terrain resistances are much worse on the M46 Patton, but even then, I'm still quite confident the vehicle is going to be much faster. It has a higher top speed. It's just a better tank, at least on mobility. So overall, yeah, I'm going to be honest, the M46 Patton just seems to be kind of better in the majority of stats. I mean, yeah, hull armor wise, the vehicle's going to be worse, but not that much worse. We can see the sides of the tanks are exactly the same at 76.2, and it's really only the frontal plates that are a little different. And to be honest, I don't think it's going to be that much of a change, because, well, let's take a look at the M46 Patton's armor here. Let me just zoom out and then reload the page, hopefully, so it's normal. Yeah, so this is what the M46 Patton looks like. Its upper plate, obviously pretty dookie, but as we saw, Patton the Tank's armor is also pretty dookie, so it's not going to matter too much on the hull. It's really the turret that we're going to focus on here. Using 10 degrees of gun depression, the M46 Patton is actually pretty strong. Let's load like APCR. As we can see, it's honestly the same weaknesses. In fact, you don't have a massive hatch. This vehicle has 297, upwards of 300 mils on the upper part of the turret, and it's really only the lower half, which is about 160 to 240, which is the big weak spot, which, unironically, seem to be about the exact same on Patton the Tank. So if I'm going to be real, guys, taking a look at both of these vehicle stats, their overall capabilities, armor profile, and everything, I don't really think that Patton the Tank is going to be anything special. It seems alright. It's got okay damage per shot, but the DPM is pretty terrible. The penetration is mediocre at best. Its mobility is pretty bad, and its armor doesn't seem to be anything impressive, especially with that massive hongler-bongler of a hatch on the roof. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining. It's a free tank. Even if it was the worst vehicle ever, it's still free. You don't need to play it.